If you're not moderate, you were wrong. I realize this clickbait title already has some of you mad, but just give me a second to explain. It's true. Kinda. You can be a liberal and you can be conservative and still be fairly moderate, and I believe that is okay. The real issue is when you're a full-on liberal or a full-on conservative, and allow me to explain why. One thing we tend to forget about is that the Democratic and Republican Party is not the government. They are a business, and their business is politics. However, if we disbanded the Republican and Democratic Party, we would still have a government, and we would be much better off. People are not in control of the government as we should be. Our government was set up to be controlled by the people, but by having people separated by sides, i.e. Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, these two companies have full control over our government decisions because they induce a like-minded complex, meaning they are, without forcing the people, actually forcing the people to make and pick a side, allowing them to push their own agendas. You're being a mild distraction. Because whether good for us or not, we the people will go with whatever our side pushes just so the other side doesn't get what they want, so they won't get an advantage. This also tends to push the I agree with this not because it's right, but because it fits my agenda attitude. Now, bear with me because I realize that this meme is old and quite grainy and it was hard to find as is. But for an example, I remember when Obama was president, I found a lot of my conservative friends and relatives pushing the narrative that he was not American, he was a terrorist, his name alone was reason enough that he shouldn't be president. Hell, there was even this meme going around of him giving a speech in the White House in front of some gold curtains captioned, "Our terrorist president has decorated the White House with Muslim gold prayer curtains." My conservative friends and family members shared the shit out of this meme. But even just 1 minute of research, you would find that, one, Muslim prayer curtains don't actually exist. And two, these curtains have actually been up since Bush, actually before Bush. They're literally just decorations. So if you look here, that's the original. And then there's this one with all these past presidents also in front of the curtain. And then, also one of Obama in front of the US flags. Again, just pushing an incorrect narrative. But less spoken about in this time was about all the good things Obama did, like the lower gas prices and trying to get everyone health insurance. And that whole thing that's happening now where marijuana is legalized and a lot of states are decriminalizing it, and many others. Obama was ahead of his time, and one of his last acts in office was to pardon like 1,000 people or more for prison sentences who were serving simply on marijuana charges. The other side is guilty of this as well. I have many liberal friends and family members who are always preaching about equality and being fair, but instead of waiting for someone to have a fair trial, I use that term loosely because anything governed by humans is still fallible and incorrect because we as humans are fallible and incorrect. But again, I reiterate, instead of waiting for someone to have a fair trial, I find a lot of my liberal friends and family members wanting the person to be burned at the stake without actual proof of what they are accused of. Oddly enough, a lot of conservatives put too much faith into the legal system, and that is a whole separate issue in itself that I'm not going to touch on right now. Now, here's the point where you should click off this video because I'm going to say the name that no one likes. Trump. Disclaimer, I do not like Trump as a person. He is so goddamn full of himself, he probably thinks his shit's worth money, and half the stuff that comes out of his mouth is pure garbage. Fire garbage. With that said, the way the liberals have treated him is the same exact way that the conservatives treated Obama. Now, I understand that a lot of the conservatives use Trump as a driving force to push their racist agenda, but he himself was not actually racist, not in the way that most believed anyways. Now, I again apologize for the shitty grainy photo, but for some reason that's all I could really get off the internet. But on December 19th, 2019, Trump signed a bipartisan bill that would permanently provide more than $250 million a year for black-only colleges. This was a real thing. You can Google it. It will come up with legitimate resources at the top of the page. Now, do you really remember this? Probably not, because the liberal media, instead of focusing on the good that this was doing, instead focused on making fun of Kellyanne Conway, the woman in the photo, who was kneeling on a couch in the Oval Office to get a better angle for her photos after this bill was signed. And they tore it up, talked about how disrespectful this was, and what she was doing was wrong and how like inappropriate to be kneeling on a couch in the Oval Office, completely glazing over the good that had just been done. My last example of this that should definitely make you woke is Bernie Sanders. We all know him. He's about as liberal can get. Too liberal, even. Free college, free healthcare, free money to those who don't want to work, to helping people out that can't work, just all around goodness, right? Now, liberals love him, yet the Democratic Party has functionally tried to phase him out a number of times, except when they are losing to the Republicans. Then they endorse him as a final-ditch effort to gain a footing. But why do they treat him like this? Because what he stands for is good for humans, but not good for business. And at the end of the day, both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are businesses. They do not care about people. They care about the bottom dollar and controlling the government. That's why they've always kept trying to phase Bernie out. So this is why I would like to see the two-party system abolished. I think that if we got rid of the split between Republicans and Democrats, then people would be more centrist and like-minded to bring their different views together to create something more beautiful for the future. Now, I get that this is an opinion piece, so it doesn't mean that that is the answer. It could be an answer, but as with everything, nothing works until you try and perfect it. Everything generally fails at the beginning and is perfected upon in the future, correct? So, I mean, that's just my views. You can go ahead and tell me what you think in the comments of my YouTube video, preferably. I will throw this in there. My YouTube page is not really growing. The problem really is I don't like to advertise, and you got to do a lot of networking to be seen on social media platforms, and I hate doing the spam thing, so I'm not doing that. That's literally the downfall of my page. So like, share, subscribe, comments help. Thank you and have a good day.